What if I told you that 40,000 years ago you were not the only human walking on Earth? Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside your cave, and seeing another person standing in the distance. They looked almost exactly like you. They made tools. They hunted animals. They protected their families. They even buried their dead. But they were not your people. They were not Homo sapiens. They were another human species. And for thousands of years we shared the same world. This sounds like science fiction, but it is one of the greatest forgotten chapters in human history. Most people believe that modern humans were always alone. At school, we are taught that humans evolved and eventually became the only intelligent species alive. But the truth is far stranger. There was a time when Earth was crowded with different kinds of humans, living side by side. Some were stronger than us. Some survived freezing ice ages. Some had brains even larger than ours. Others lived on isolated islands, hidden from the rest of the world. They all laughed, hunted, created tools, cared for their children, and fought to survive, just like us. Imagine walking through an ancient forest 40,000 years ago. Suddenly, you hear footsteps. You expect to see another member of your tribe. Instead, a stranger appears. His face looks different. His body is heavier. His muscles are stronger. His eyes carefully watch every movement you make. Neither of you knows whether the other is a friend or an enemy. For a few silent seconds, two different human species stand face to face. This was not a rare event. Scientists now believe encounters like this happened many times across Europe, Asia, and even remote islands. Modern humans were exploring new lands, while other ancient human species had already been living there for hundreds of thousands of years. One of the most famous was the Neanderthal. They were incredibly powerful hunters with broad shoulders, thick bones, and massive strength. They survived brutal winters that would have killed most people today. They crafted stone weapons, built shelters, and mastered the use of fire. Long before modern civilization existed, Neanderthals were already adapting to one of the harshest environments on Earth. For a long time, scientists believed Neanderthals were primitive and unintelligent. But every new discovery keeps proving the opposite. They cared for injured family members. They created tools with remarkable skill. They may have worn simple ornaments and even produced symbolic art. The more we learn about them, the more they begin to look like us. And the biggest mystery of all is this. If they were so intelligent, so skilled, and so well adapted, then why are they gone while we survived? The answer is far more surprising than most people imagine. And it begins with a discovery that completely changed everything scientists thought they knew about human history. Everything changed in 2010 when scientists examined a tiny fossil discovered inside Denisova cave in Siberia. It was only a small finger bone, barely larger than a human thumb. Yet, hidden inside it was DNA unlike anything researchers had ever seen. They expected it to belong to either a modern human or a Neanderthal. Instead, the genetic code revealed an entirely different human species. One that nobody even knew existed. Scientists named them the Denisovans. They were not Neanderthals and they were not modern humans. They were another branch of the human family tree that had remained completely invisible until modern DNA technology uncovered their existence. Imagine an entire human species being forgotten for tens of thousands of years, simply because only a few tiny bones survived. The surprises did not stop there. When researchers compared Denisovan DNA with people alive today, they discovered something astonishing. Millions of modern humans, especially across Asia and Oceania, still carry Denisovan genes inside their bodies. This meant ancient humans did not simply meet each other. They had children together. Their families mixed and their DNA survived all the way to the present day. The same incredible discovery happened with Neanderthals. Scientists found that almost every person with European or Asian ancestry carries small amounts of Neanderthal DNA. Even though Neanderthals disappeared around 40,000 years ago, a part of them is still alive inside billions of people today. In a way, they never truly went extinct. But the mystery became even stranger. On a small Indonesian island, researchers uncovered tiny human skeletons standing only about 1 meter tall. Because of their unusual size, they became known as the Hobbit humans, officially called Homo floresiensis. Despite their small bodies, they built stone tools, hunted large animals, and survived on the island for thousands of years, proving that intelligence does not always depend on size. Then, Another forgotten species was discovered in the Philippines, Homo luzonensis. They lived on isolated islands, developing unique features completely different from every other known human group. Every new discovery made one thing clear. Human history was never simple. It was not one straight line leading from primitive humans to us. Instead, it looked like a giant family tree, filled with cousins, brothers, sisters, and relatives, living at the same time across different parts of the world. For hundreds of thousands of years, Earth was shared by many kinds of humans. Some met peacefully. Some competed for food. Some may have exchanged ideas, tools, and survival techniques. Others may have fought over territory. No one knows exactly what every encounter looked like. But one thing is certain. Our ancestors were never alone. Then, almost suddenly, those other human species began disappearing. One by one, the Neanderthals vanished. The Denisovans disappeared. The hobbit humans were gone. And eventually, only one species remained, Homo sapiens. But why did every other human disappear while we survived? That question has challenged scientists for decades, and the answer may completely change the way you think about what it truly means to be human. For decades, scientists believed competition alone explained everything. They imagined modern humans were simply smarter, stronger, or more advanced, and that every other human species slowly disappeared. But recent discoveries suggest the real story was far more complicated. Climate change transformed entire continents. Forests became grasslands. Ice ages forced populations to migrate. Food sources disappeared, and small, isolated groups struggled to survive. Long before history was ever written, the world itself was constantly changing. Modern humans also possessed one extraordinary advantage: large connected social networks. Instead of living only in small, isolated groups, our ancestors formed bigger communities. They shared knowledge, traded resources, and taught new skills across generations. If one tribe discovered a better hunting technique or a safer tool, that idea could spread rapidly across hundreds of kilometers. Knowledge became humanity's greatest survival weapon. Language may have played an equally important role. The ability to communicate detailed plans, tell stories, warn others about danger, and pass knowledge from one generation to the next allowed Homo sapiens to adapt faster than any other human species. Ideas could survive even after the people who invented them had died. Yet, the biggest surprise is that these ancient humans were never completely lost. Every time scientists study ancient DNA, they uncover more evidence that our story is connected to theirs. Many people alive today still carry Neanderthal genes that influence their immune system, skin, and even how their bodies respond to certain diseases. Others carry Denisovan DNA that helps people living at high altitudes survive with less oxygen. Their bodies disappeared, but parts of them continue living inside us. Even more fascinating, researchers are now finding evidence of mysterious ghost lineages. Human groups that have never been discovered as complete skeletons, but whose DNA left traces in ancient populations. This means there may have been even more human species sharing the Earth than we currently know. Every new fossil and every new DNA discovery has the power to rewrite the human family tree once again. So perhaps the greatest mystery is not why those humans disappeared, but why we survived. We are not the final step of evolution. We are simply the last remaining branch of a once enormous human family. Every person alive today carries a history far older and far more complicated than most of us ever imagine. The next time you look into a mirror, remember you are not seeing the story of one species. You are looking at the final survivor of an entire human world. A world filled with cousins, rivals, neighbors, and forgotten relatives, whose lives shaped the person you are today. And maybe somewhere beneath our feet, another fossil is waiting to reveal that humanity's greatest secret has still not been discovered. If you love uncovering the forgotten mysteries of human evolution, subscribe to Anthrova. Because history is far stranger than fiction, and the greatest discoveries may still be waiting underground.